Oh boy. Woo! Here's my narcissist repellent. Oh, what is that flying around? Oh, a narcissist. Cluster B personality. Ooh, there's one crawling. Ooh, stop. Falling on my. Got it. You ever get a narcissist or a cluster B personality just crawling around searching for narcissistic supply? Matter of fact, I see one right now on my counter. Oh, God. Get my narcissist. Next time you see narcissists and cluster B personalities crawling around or swarming around, right? Or buzzing around, get your narcissist repellent. And next time they look like they want to start crawling inside where you live at, where you have some peace, get your narcissist repellent. God. Signs of narcissist contempt: denial of dysfunctional behavior, divert or block efforts to come to peace due to disagreement, withdrawing affection and sex, refusing to communicate in order to resolve misunderstanding and or conflicts. In other words, the silent treatment. Last sign of narcissist contempt is judgmental and critical. So narcissist thinks that the self-preservation is only for them, okay? Because they have predatory natures. So it's no thing for them to go out and scout for new supply, okay? Primary sources of supply, which are their families, their closest friends. But then they also want the secondary supply. This can be lovers, side, chicks or side pieces or whatever, right? Okay, so this is secondary and primary sources of supply. Yes, narcissists categorize their sources of supply, but when it comes to self-preservation, it's no thing for them to practice this. They just think it's only for them. But those around him or her who practice self-preservation, secretly the narcissist says, gotta punish that one. So this is when the diabolical tactics for narcissistic supply increase. Also, this is when the shenanigans that they pull also increase. So don't be surprised that they are seeking to punish people who practice self-preservation, because again, they think self-preservation is only for them. Next point. As far as the narcissist is concerned, it is not only inappropriate for anyone else to practice self-preservation, it is often a real inconvenience to him or her. Narcissists don't like others critically thinking. Rather, they like when others who supply them to be enablers. So when a person starts to critically think, yes, this is a threat to the false self-image or the false self-images of narcissists and cluster B personality types. They don't like it when people critically think, because more than likely, before the mask slips off, a person can already identify the narcissist and a cluster B personality. Because these individuals, they represent dysfunction. Narcissists and cluster B personalities, they do not engage in any other type of relationship other than toxic and dysfunctional. So yeah, they represent dysfunction, maybe even toxicity. But as far as like the narcissist is concerned, it is very inappropriate for other people to practice self-preservation. Again, they think it's only for them. So it is very inconvenient when other people within their circles start to think critically, therefore practice self-preservation. The people who begin to critically think, sometimes, it depends on the situation, sometimes the narcissist will recruit flying monkeys to hoover them back in, especially if this is a primary source supplier, okay, such as family, spouses, closest friends who may have a lot of money, right? Or who may be rubbing elbows with other influential people that the narcissist may want to get next to. So these are people that the narcissist, once the person starts to go no contact and maybe critically think about who the narcissist is and what they represent, they want to probably hoover them back in. And of course, this is for more narcissistic supply. It is not because they love and care about them so much. The other situation where they may not hoover the person back in, who may start critically thinking, is because that person found the narcissist out, and they may not be considered a person who is a primary source supplier, or a person that the narcissist feels that they can get more supply from. The ability and willingness to critically think, whereas the narcissist is concerned, takes emotional discipline. And this is what choosing to practice self-preservation is all about. Practicing emotional discipline is a game changer due to keeping the narcissist starving for narcissistic supply while having to go elsewhere for it. Okay, so a narcissist or a cluster B personality, they may just say, okay, this person, they know all my business, right? So I'm just going to go elsewhere for the narcissistic supply. Those people who start to practice emotional discipline, this may turn out to be the case for him or her, the narcissist going elsewhere, because they start to have personal boundaries. They start practicing, this is what emotional discipline is about also. They practice personal boundaries. They may start to assert themselves. In other words, they may become a little bit more vocal about how they feel and what they think about the narcissist pulling shenanigans and engaging in various diabolical tactics for narcissistic supply. So the narcissist may say, okay, this is too much. I'm just going to go elsewhere for the narcissistic supply. So in cases where someone is practicing emotional discipline, like I said, more than likely, this is probably going to be the result. The narcissist going elsewhere for narcissistic supply. Once the person starts to practice self-preservation, emotional discipline, assertion, as well as personal boundaries, that is a narcissist repellent. Actually, that's kryptonite to the narcissist, because he or she cannot really penetrate the energy field of a person who practices personal boundaries, emotional discipline, self-preservation, and assertion. Okay, so the ability and the willingness to critically think is going to be a game changer. Practice self-regulatory processing. This is simply soothing yourself should you become triggered by something the narcissist says or does. Even if you're repeatedly thinking of him or her, practice self-regulatory processing. Soothe yourself. You can do that by mindfulness as well. But I want you all to look up that self-regulatory processing. Out of all the tools I have ever shared on the Luminousz Ztarr channel, I must say by personal experience, that is one of the most effective tools. Discipline, emotional discipline. Don't be afraid to ask critical questions, okay? This will help you to stay focused on thriving forward. When you start to find out what your personal definitions are of love, of relationships, of family, okay, and compare it to the narcissist, it's a real game changer. It's an eye-opener, because the way you view relationships, the narcissist does not. Your definition of love more than likely is different from the definition that the narcissist and cluster B personality type has, which goes to show you that what you value, they probably don't value. Your principles are not their principles. This is another reason why narcissists and cluster B personality types are able to keep us focused on them. Okay, you're repeatedly thinking about him or her, and it is by grand design. Okay, it is also to keep you off your square and keep you boxed into their world. All right, so as long as you're off your square, then you're not focused on thriving forward past narcissistic codependent relationships.